Well, I have too many friends. Why would I want to make new friends? Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Dane podcast. I can't believe that I'm officially approved on Spotify and iTunes, also Apple Podcasts, basically the same thing. And it's just so good, such a good feeling, after all of the building up and preparing and editing and everything going behind the scenes. And, it's just such a good feeling when something that that you're passionate about and you want to really just take off with it, and now it's here, so we're here, so cheers. I hope everyone enjoyed the long weekends with Memorial Day, and maybe you did something fun with social distancing, or maybe you just kept it low key. But first, I do just want to give you a couple updates going on. So, as I mentioned, I'm on Spotify and iTunes, as well as, that's Apple Podcasts. I don't know if that's confusing for people or not. It's just the way I had to submit it initially was through iTunes, but of course, you can definitely just download it right on your iPhone with Apple Podcasts, so you don't always have to open up iTunes if you have that. But maybe if you're at your computer and you have iTunes there, then that's where you would listen. But just wanted to clarify that. I'm not sure if that was confusing or not. I'm also I've been working on my website, which is very exciting, so you can see more of who I am as a person and a little bit about my background, and just another way for you all to listen and have different avenues of contacting me. So that's basically almost done, just making a few tweaks, and then it'll be ready. And more recently, I just made a coffee account. For those of you wondering and kind of probably giving me some weird look right now. No, this is not an actual coffee subscription where I'm now signing up as the Big Dane and making my own coffee. No, 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 no. This is a page for and a platform for creators that really want to build up what they're doing, whether you're a writer, an artist, a photographer, whatever it is that you do. It's another way to support one another and even bring the listeners like you guys and fans to my page, so you can see all those maybe uncut versions that I have, new pictures that I'm not going to put on Instagram or Facebook, because this page is kind of dedicated for kind of all these bonus features, and just to see what else I do, or random silly stuff that I won't be putting on my regular accounts. So definitely check it out. When I first was looking it up, it didn't dawn on me that it was it was pronounced coffee, because the way it's spelled, it's kind of like how it sounds. So it's KO dash FI, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then because there's another platform that's similar, is Patreon. So you might hear that, and maybe you've heard in some other podcasts that you've been listening to. So I had to kind of go back to it and really figure out what is this? And you'll see the little icon. I'll have it on my website too at the top as a link, so you can quickly identify it. And it's a cup of coffee. So if you're wondering what that is, that's what that is, and you can check out my page. So excited to get that up, and yeah, you can see everything. So, and essentially it's you buy artists and your supporters basically a cup of coffee per se, and just to help, support your, maybe it's a business or whatever you're trying to do. And so that's where like the coffee kind of stemmed from. All right, guys. So just want to give you a quick update on my walks. And then for today's topic, we're going to talk all about friends and dive into all of that. So real quickly here. So I don't know if I'm sure this has happened to people. So I was on a walk and I'm approaching an older man that's walking. He's still pretty far away. And as I'm getting closer, like he was smiling, but then literally as soon as I was like approaching and like I was like smiling back, like, yeah, like so cool. And whatever. And then he immediately frowns. And I'm like, really? Like, at least wait until we pass each other. I feel like there's always that weird, like, when you're like approaching someone you don't know and you maybe want to say hi, but like you're not really sure. So then you just smile, but then you don't smile long enough to actually pass the person. And then it just becomes weird. So that was like kind of strange. And then I also saw a mom with, she had her child in the stroller, and then she had maybe her daughter was, I don't know, 3 years old. And I was by the VFW building, Spring Mill, and I think that's maybe like 6. It's kind of like that weird intersection there. And they have like, of course, these little American flags, like in their, where they have the flowers and like the whole sign and everything. And here I was dying. Here, the little girl, she was taking out the American flags and just like kind of waving it and like playing around. And like the mom, I felt bad because she was like trying to hold it together and like, be like monitor like everyone between the stroller. Then she was talking to someone on the phone, and here her daughter is just like pulling out all the flags that are in the soil and just like waving it around like it's like no big deal. What else? I'll make it quicker this time because then we won't have enough time for the topic. Then for those that own cats or, maybe grew up with a cat, I was walking by. It was actually the same condo building where I saw that giant red velvet beanbag in the handicap spot. So I look up and I see this little cage like out the window, and this must have been like 5 stories up or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's totally a cat. And I've seen this before online where, if you have an indoor cat and maybe they want to get a little bit exposed, or like you want to make them feel more comfortable and entertained, you buy this little like contraption that you put out your window, but it's kind of like a cage so they don't like obviously fall out or like, die. So I thought it was the cutest thing, and I'm like, oh, I want to maybe get one for Moo and Lydia, but I don't know. We'll see. Now that it's getting warmer, I don't know how often that would really happen with the air on, but I think it's a cool idea. And I don't know if anyone also has been doing like a Sunday night walk. This one was new to me because I normally just walk like during the day, knock out the steps during the day and just kind of relax. So I took a walk the other Sunday at night, like after dinner. Maybe it was like 7:30, and it was a little bit eerie. It was cloudy that day too, so it felt even more like strange, and literally like no one was out. Whereas if I'd gone during the day and actually like kind of see people bopping around the neighborhood. But yeah, it was kind of strange. And even walked through the downtown, like on Fayette and Conshohocken, and it was just like a ghost town. And just yesterday, okay, so I talked about this before about like hearing that rooster that I had no idea like where it was coming from. So yesterday, I think I'm now like pinpointing like almost exactly where this rooster is. And I'm hoping someone tells me who has it. So if you have any ideas, send me a message. because I'm like just itching to hear. So I'm walking down, and it was right where like I think it's Marywood Park right there, like 4th and Hollowell. And I'm like turning the corner there and making like a right. So I'm like going like towards 5th. And it was like right on the corner, and it was like really loud. So I couldn't tell if it was like that house on the corner or if it was like a little further down, because then I was getting towards the alley. But I don't know. So today we are getting into we're just gonna talk about friends, and not just, but because I mean, think about all the friends that you have. Some people have many different groups of friends, like myself, just because I've met so many different people along the way. And even when I was younger, too, I just made so many different groups of friends. I think also because I was so involved with like sports, and then, sports, because that was my main thing growing up, and just meeting people that way. And so I met a lot of friends, just different parts of my life through elementary school and middle school, high school. And I'm sure, everyone can attest to this, they come and go. And that's just kind of the way life is. Like, people grow up, and sometimes you kind of just grow apart because you get so busy, and that's that, and just time goes by, and maybe nothing was wrong. And then sure, there's other times where maybe there was like a blowout, or something actually happened, and maybe both of you hurt each other, or who knows. But yeah, so just depends on where you're at in your life with that. But and today, like, I've been meeting friends, of course, like coworkers, and my softball league here in Conchi. Like, I met so many friends through that, which is kind of nice. And then they basically, for the most part, all live in Conchi too. So it's kind of cool to just like hang out and get dinner or something like that. Obviously, like, not now, but yeah. And for me, my family never moved to a different state or to a different neighborhood or anything. So there was that consistency, which was nice, because, I'm sure we can remember times, when you're in elementary school or middle school, and now it's like the new school year, and then you spot out like the new kid. And then, so I don't have that experience. I know my sister-in-law moved like a gajillion times, so she has had so many different experiences with that. But so I didn't have to worry about like not seeing like old friends, or being forced to make new friends, and being in a city that's like unfamiliar and just kind of foreign. The only, like, there was one time we were going to move. I think I was still either just leaving middle school, which in the North Penn School District, that was like 7 to 9, and then high school was 10th through 12th. So there's just too many kids. So it was a little bit different. So we almost moved, and then we didn't. There wasn't anything that really like was worth that move. So that was that. And I've met some of my best friends, like, yeah, at like all stages of my life. I have one of my girlfriends, she used to be my neighbor, and like then we went to school together, and we played soccer, and we played like all these activities, and so it's so nice to have someone just like a long-term like friendship like that, and just reminisce like on the old days, and then do new adventures with them. And it's just nice to have like that. I'm trying to think of the right word, but maybe like comfort, or just you can really count on them. Then I met like another best friend in middle school, and her and we've been friends since. And then I met, the rest of my best friends in high school, and some good friends too in college. And yeah, a friend of mine, oh, you know what? So I like crack up when people say this because they're like, yeah, we've been best friends since we were like 2 months old. And I'm like, really? And how do you know that? Did you talk to each other? When you think about it, obviously, like, doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, your moms were best friends, and then you guys came along, and like, you're saying you're best friends, but babies can't see shit when they're 2 months old. Come on, guys. But yeah, so a friend of mine, good friend of mine, we met in college, and she lives in California. So obviously we're not seeing each other like that often. So we've been trying to do trips together. And so we actually did a trip 2 years ago and did it surrounding the French Open, and it was just like the best time. So I love like doing and sharing like those experiences with her. And I don't know about you guys, but anytime that I'm like put back together with like college friends, or it's just like we go balls to the wall, and it's just like insane. I remember I even had visited her. This was like a few years back now, before our French Open trip, and we did all the wineries, and her mom drove us around, and it was just the best. And like, we just had like a lot to drink, and I thought, what are we doing? Like, what are we in college again? But it was just hilarious. And we had bought a bottle of wine, and like, when we came back from like our whole day of wine tasting, we decided, yeah, let's just open our bottle of wine that we just bought and continue the drink. And then we ventured out into like her town there. And then we felt awful the next day. But hey, I mean, that's what it's all about. Experiences and having those moments with your friends, especially the ones that you don't get to see that often. My childhood best friend, oh my goodness, we were inseparable. We did, I kid you not, every single activity together. Like, everything. Soccer, softball, basketball. We even did roller hockey. Hello, yeah. And played with the boys because we don't care. We were tomboys. We were like, I can do this. I will beat your ass. So, but yeah, it's like we grew up. Oh shit, I forgot to silence my phone. My B guys. And what was I saying? So, best friends, childhood, hockey, and oh yeah. So yeah, as we got older, like, you start to, yeah, you just start growing apart, and then, she made new friends, I made new friends, and that's totally fine. Like, as we got out of elementary school, we're at the middle school now, and we're still hanging out. And then maybe it was like ninth grade when we were there, and then kind of getting into high school. I think that was really when like our hangouts started to like slowly decrease. And yeah, like, you still talk to each other, like, nothing's wrong. It's the way life happens. But I still talk to her today, which is so fun. And 2 years ago, when she got married, I was actually invited to her wedding. And I could not believe I was invited. And it was just so sweet for her to invite me. Just knowing we had so many memories when we were kids, and even both of our families like together and hanging out in those moments. And so it was just so nice and special to be there on that day with her. And I just loved it. Bottom line. So I don't know if anyone else has had friends like that where you've had so many moments with them in your childhood and then you kind of like just kind of fade a little bit, but then you still like stay in touch. So yeah, let me know. And also with friendships, like yeah, it's gonna change. As I was just saying with my experience, but I think there's other times where you get to a point where maybe you're reaching out a lot and maybe you're not getting thing like in return. So maybe it's having a conversation. If you're comfortable enough and you really and truly want to salvage your friendship, reach out to this person, have a phone chat, or meet somewhere, get a, well, god damn it, this pandemic. Meet somewhere, I was gonna say, to get a cup of coffee. So yeah, I mean, you could, but bring your own coffee, right? So, or a cocktail. But yeah, because maybe they, the other person doesn't realize how much how much that you've been thinking about their friendship and just more into perspective for them because they may not realize it or get it or I don't know. So, sometimes it's just hard to, especially through text. God, texting is so annoying sometimes. Because you can't, there's no emotion. Like, how am I supposed to understand where you're coming from or like what you're really saying? Like, things can get misconstrued, and it's just that I wouldn't recommend that if you're going to try to have this conversation because this is a bigger conversation. So, yeah, but totally your call. So whether you have that conversation or not, it just I hope it maybe goes well, but there's definitely been times where I've reached out to people and maybe they don't get back to me. But overall, it just gets exhausting. It's a two-way street. So after so long, like, and I always try to be optimistic, like, yeah, like, they'll respond or like yeah they'll reach out. Like it's one thing to say like hey let's catch up and then another to say hey let's catch up on XYZ day, and just take it one step further. It takes a couple more words to really solidify and make an appointment almost to catch up with this person, especially if there's been so much of a time gap, like so just adding that extra part in goes a long way because after that, like, then no one is making any moves. So it's like, I put the ball in your court, now let's go, let's play. But I've gotten to a point several times where I've just thrown in the towel because, as I've gotten older, I don't want to waste my energy over this. So ditch their asses is what I'm saying. Yes, but no. But when you get to that point, then you just ditch. That's it. You throw in the towel. And even I've had some experience too. I met some friends in college, and after we graduated, we would still catch up, and this was great, and we would try to make plans. Okay, great. And then I try to keep reaching out and try to make plans. And sure, it was a little bit harder because we're not in the same state anymore. And I'm here outside of Philly, and now they're in other states and not even in Rhode Island. And, I got to the point where I'm starting to see a pattern, where you're like, oh, well, I have to check my schedule and I'm not sure if I can make it up there and da 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 da. And then you start to realize that it's all BS, and like, and what bothers me the most is that we've had phone conversations like and talked about like deep stuff, and now you're gonna shut me out for I don't even know why. Really, I did not do anything, and now they're just like cutting me off, and they don't have the balls to reach out and say like basically like ending a friendship. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, at least tell me why, or at least reach out and have like the balls and guts to just be like, yeah, like maybe like I don't even know because I've never had this conversation with anyone, but we're growing apart, or who even knows, to say and mean that I don't want to still be your friend, I don't know, but I think it's immature and not gutsy and not genuine either to just stop. You've had all these experiences, like some of these experiences, like with my college friends, like these are people I went on like study abroad with and saw these people like every weekend, and now for whatever reason, I don't know what happened to you. You woke up one morning and said, all right, I'm not gonna talk to this person anymore. Like, come on. So at that point, that's when I threw the towel in for the one where I just kept trying to make plans. And then I said, I need to stop. I need to stop reaching out because I'm getting exhausted and wasting my energy for no reason. And if they really cared, they would reach out too to actually make plans, because I've done the work. And you know what? I haven't heard anything since I've done that. So there you have it. You really start to learn like who your true friends are and what they mean to you. So it's just crazy. But I think overall too, as you make your new friends and have your old friends and everything, I think overall it's okay to grow apart. That happens. Do I think it's okay for friends to ghost you? No. No. And I think at times too, friends, maybe they're growing apart because their values have changed, their goals have changed in their life. Or it could be maybe this person now is more negative than they were when you used to hang out in high school or in college or wherever. And that's now there's always a choice. So you have the choice to either continue to be friends with this person that maybe is like kind of emotionally putting you down, or maybe you reach out and say, hey, like this is how I'm feeling, da 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 da, however you want to do it. But I think being honest about it and being true to yourself and true to them, that's what's important. And that's what goes a long way. And I think people appreciate that too when you're upfront. At least I do. When someone tells me, even in general, like, just tell me what's up. Like, I don't care. This is not fifth grade. This is not elementary school. We're adults, so I think I can handle it. Bring it on, bitches, is what I say. Or maybe the Big Dane says, if you know what I'm saying. What else? What else do you got? I'm looking at Moo, but she's not giving me anything. So, yeah, and I think at the end of the day, too, you really see who's there for you. Whether you're going through a rough patch of something, maybe something has happened with your family, or even something, you're becoming really successful at your job and in your career, and you're making big moves, and, you're VP of whatever you do, which is amazing, right? That's when you see where your friends are at. So I think just keep that in mind, and maybe you guys can attest to, and send me a message of what you've been experiencing with your friends, and even making new friends. I had it down as a complete separate episode, and we can totally do, is making adult friends. So I think that is actually tough. Because people just kind of revert back to like their core group and don't want to like make new friends. Or I've heard people even say, like, well, I have too many friends. Why would I want to make new friends? Like, well, you only live once, right? So why not make a new friend? Why not give a smile to someone in the coffee shop and exchange numbers? That's what I did. Maybe I could tell you a little bit more next time. But so that's all I got for today, everyone. Keeping this on the shorter side, as always. So hope you enjoyed it. I know I was getting a little deep there, but this is what's going on, and I think people need to realize it and kind of reflect, and love to hear it. So just reminding you all about my coffee subscription and my webpage there, and that again is more of like a supporting page like for my fans, and I can have like exclusive content like just for you guys too, just with buying me a cup of coffee. Yeah. And my website is almost complete, so you'll have that available, and I'll have all my links there to everything. So keep listening. Leave me some reviews if you have any thoughts or recommendations for maybe a topic that you want to hear about. Maybe I have it on my list, but maybe I don't. So shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Please follow me and share with your friends. Friends on friends on friends. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.